Hey guys, welcome to my Realm of Champions beginner resource guide. I've been playing this game for about 2 weeks and I am loving it so far. It's quick, it's good, it's fun, and I think global is going to be a pretty big success. So if anyone is, interested in playing the game, I think this little guide here is going to help a lot of new players just get the basic information down. I'm not the best when it comes to creating like a Google Doc or a Google Sheet. As you can see, it's kind of it's pretty basic, and I have only 3 sheets currently. I plan on adding a fourth one for like item synergies, and as we progress in the game, if anything else that comes to my mind, I may keep adding. So I'm gonna post the link to this in the description, so you guys can go ahead and check it out for yourselves. If you guys need to reference it for whatever reason, go right ahead. And yeah, like I said, this is a work in progress. A lot of trial and error, lots of wins, lots of defeats, lots of screenshots, recording, taking notes on my iPad, on my phone, just a whole bunch of stuff. And I came up with this little thing. So let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully, like I said, this helps some of you guys. So at rank 1, this is the rank, of course, rank 1, rank 2, rank 3, and then we have the levels, the amount of ISO required to take them to that specific level. And over here, rank 3, currently to be determined, because I only have an Iron Man that is, he's my highest rated character right now. He's rank 2, level 20, and I'm currently missing the 30 basic catalysts that are required to take him up to rank 3. And then once of course I take him up there, I'm going to start filling this in. So little by little, you guys are going to see some of this stuff in red go away. So I know it's weird. It's like, why didn't you start with level 1? Well, by default, of course, your character is level 1. And for them to go from level 1 to level 2, you're going to need 20 ISO 9. From them to go from level 2 to level 3, you're going to need 40. From 3 to 4, you're going to need 60. 4 to 5, 90, and so on. So all in all, this is how much ISO 9 you're going to require. It's going to be required to take a character all the way from level 1 all the way to level 10. So something to keep in mind. I know currently there's only 6 characters that you can play, 6 champions, and as the game progresses, they're definitely going to be adding new ones. I'm excited for Deadpool, for Wolverine from that little cinematic teaser. I don't know when they're going to be coming out, but I guarantee you they are 100% coming to the game. So, once we've all been playing for quite a while and we get news that a new champion is coming, this is something I think to keep in mind. How much ISO 9 you're going to need in total to take that character from rank 1, level 1 to level 10. This is how much will be required. Same thing with rank 2. Once you rank them up, how much ISO is going to be required. Same thing with rank 3. And I think for sure there's going to be a rank 4, probably guaranteed eventually a rank 5. So we are going to just keep adding to this list. So you guys can come back here, like I said, and reference it. And number of games, I have this filled in, but I have it currently whited out for now. I'll come back and I'll let you guys know how many number of games are required to get around this much ISO 9. So just so you guys have like a general idea. And so this is basically just like the basic leveling and the amount of ISO required. And then here to take a champion up from rank 1 to rank 2, it's 200 gold, which honestly, it's very little. It shouldn't even be a requirement. It's like such a small amount. You get so much gold in the game from scrapping gear, from winning, from losing. So gold is not really going to be an issue when it comes to ranking up a character. These 10 basic catalysts will be needed to take from rank 1 to rank 2. To go from rank 2 to rank 3, you're going to need 2,500 gold, which again, it's almost nothing. 30 basic catalyst and 10 tier 2 basic catalyst. And then once I take my Iron Man up to rank 3, I'm going to fill this in, and that way we know how much it's going to cost or what's going to be required to go from rank 3 to rank 4. And some of the challenges down here. So how do you get some of this stuff, you guys might ask? This is basically the guaranteed things that the game is going to give you from like challenges. So from the daily missions, you will get basic catalysts, you will get 2 of them. 7 days in a week, you will get 14 by doing all of your daily missions, which are super, super easy. You guys should be able to take care of them right away. And then every week, there's also a weekly mission that gives you 3 basic catalysts. So all in all, every week, this is how many you're going to be able to get per week. So 17 of the basic catalysts you can get per week. So roughly every 2 weeks, you might be able to take a character up to rank 2. And I'm sorry, to rank 3. Because yeah, from rank 2 to rank 3, 30 required. So gotta save up for about 2 weeks to take a character up to rank 3. And milestones currently don't give any basic catalyst. Oh, I probably should have said all this is subject to change if once global releases, all like the beta info, all the numbers gets they get kind of adjusted. I'm gonna come back in here and adjust some stuff, but for now this is still in beta, so just a couple days till we get the global release. But for now, milestones give 0 basic catalyst, tier 2 basic, 0 from daily, 0 from weekly. Milestones, there's 36 of them, and if you complete all of them, you get 66 tier 2 basics, which is quite a bit. Currently, this is the only way to get them, so obviously there's going to be different ways of getting them in the future, so we will find out eventually. ISO 9, you don't get any from daily, nothing from weekly, but you do get 900 from milestones, and you get a lot of the ISO 9 from the milestones very early on. So as you're playing, you're going to get this number really, really quickly. So right away, you should be able to get super close to like maxing out a character within, I would say like within 1 or 2 hours of playing the game, you'll be able to max out, at least the character. Units, 0 from daily, 100 from weekly, and 760 total from milestones. So this will be the main, from the weeklies is where you'll be mainly be getting your units from. And I think that pretty much covers the level / rank up and number of games. We're going to come back to this right now. So on to the next one, the 3v3 arena resources. I went ahead and skipped newcomer and recruit because those are like the super simple tiers. Honestly, you're going to be spending most of your time here in warrior tier as you're a beginner, and eventually defender tier as well. So real quick, we'll cover defender tier, and this is assuming this little information right here, it's all assuming competitive arena, so the 3v3 arenas. And for the longest time, I didn't really know like what my performance meant until I actually started taking notes, and I went back and I looked at my videos and I double checked a bunch of information, and it was like, okay, this kind of makes sense now. So from this point to this point, I graded this like a 1 rating for your performance. From this point to this point, it's a 2 rating. From this point to this point, it's a 3. From this point to this point, it's a 4. And depending on your performance, you get a little bit more ISO 9, gold, and components, depending, again, on your performance of the match. For a 1 performance, I would say poor performance, you get 19 ISO 9, 74 gold, 37 components. And gear is random. It is completely random. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. I don't know if it's 100% guaranteed. Again, it's not, in my opinion. It's not, because there are times when I do get it, sometimes I don't. And same thing with components. Components, once you're full with components, you don't get any. It's always going to be 0. You're only going to get ISO 9, gold, or gear. And of course, everyone should be aspiring to perform as best as you possibly can. It doesn't matter if you hit this very, very last little, I guess, checkpoint, milestone, whatever. Anywhere that you land in here, it's going to get you 22 ISO 9, 86 gold, and 43 components at warrior tier. And every loss at warrior tier is going to give you 15 ISO 9, 60 gold, and 30 components, and again, a chance for gear. And these correlate as well, so gear is random, and if you're full on components and you lose, you're going to get 0. So just something to keep in mind. Defender tier. I have these in red because I just recently took my Iron Man up to defender tier, and I've only done a couple games with him. And one of the games I got this performance, I landed on a 2, and in another game I think I landed somewhere in here, but it was definitely a 4. So I ended up getting 22 ISO 9. So that basically for me tells me that it's not going to change the amount of ISO 9 that you get from warrior tier to defender tier, but the gold and components do change. And this is a guesstimate. I'm guesstimating here because, again, I haven't landed on a 3 or a 1 in my performance yet. But of course, I'm just assuming 20 is a 2. 20 ISO 9 is a 2, 22 is a 4, so most likely this is going to be a 21. And same thing with this, the one is going to be a 19. Gold, I got 16 here, I got 132 here. The average between that should be this, 124. Same thing over here with gold, minus 8 from here, 108. Components, 54, 58, 62, 66. And loss, you actually, when you lose in defender tier, you do gain a little bit more gold and components. It's a small amount, 20 extra gold and 10 more components from warrior to defender. And here we also have deathmatch. Deathmatch, I added this. Win or lose in deathmatch, you will always get 15 ISO 9, 60 gold, and 30 components. In warrior tier and in defender, you'll get, again, roughly a little bit more. So that's just a quick little rundown of the performance and between warrior and defender tier. Defender is currently the highest tier that they have in the game. There's been a screenshot from back in early beta where there's way more tiers, and I guarantee you there will be a lot more tiers. So as the tiers get added, we're going to keep on adding to this as well, so we can keep track of if this number ever goes up. I really thought this was going to go up, so it's a little disappointing that it didn't go up. But I took the average basically of the amount of ISO 9 required, basically, so that way we can get a rough idea over here. And I just went ahead and picked 20 as the average ISO 9 that you'll be getting per win. Some of you like amazing players are going to end up getting 22 a lot. Some of you will be getting 21. But to make everything simple and get a nice even number, we're going to go with 20. So over here, let's go ahead and add this back. So number of games, 48. This sounds like a lot, okay? This sounds like a lot. It's like, okay, I need to play 48 games to get an average of 20 ISO 9 to be able to take a character from rank 1 all the way to level 10 to get that 960 ISO 9. But honestly, the games go by really, really fast. In less than like 2 minutes, you're done with a match and you can just jump into another one, keep going. So roughly in about 2 hours, you can max out a rank 1 character. And over here, to take them from rank 2 to level 20, you're going to need this much ISO, which translates to roughly 76.5, 77. We'll go with 77 games that you need to get to max out a rank 2 character to level 20. And then eventually we'll do this one as well once I figure out how much ISO 9 is going to be required over here. The one thing I did find a little bit interesting was that at rank 2, 170 ISO 9 is required like all the way through. I was expecting it to go up similar to over here. But then at rank 1, after, to go from level 5 to level 6, it's 150 ISO 9. And then it's just 150, 150, 150, 150. And then rank 2 was just 170 straight up. Rank 3, I don't know, it might be like 200 or something. We'll find out. But yeah, hopefully that helps give you guys some little, I guess, information and a little bit of a reference. Like I said, if a new character comes out and you're saving for, say, Wolverine or Deadpool and you want to take him up to rank 2, you he's going to be a lot of fun to play with. Just add these two and you'll know like how much ISO 9 you're going to need in total to like max them out. Same thing with the catalyst, just something to keep in mind. Like, okay, I need to hoard this amount of resources to be able to max out the character that I really want. So we did level up and rank up. We did 3v3 arena resources. Let's jump into item stats info. This is going to be a work in progress still. I've come to the conclusion, and I've noticed this already, it's basically confirmed. As you progress in the game, say you go from like warrior to defender and you start getting defender items, there are more substats on items that you start acquiring. So the items will get newer substats basically that aren't in this list. So real quick, we'll just do a quick brief summary. Most of you guys can skip this. One of the things I don't like about the game so far is that there's no like actual percentages. So when it comes to like armor, calculating armor, how much like damage reduction, like the amount of armor you have actually does, there's no percentages, there's no calculations, there's no way for us to calculate that. So it's a little hard to, judge like the overall strength of some substats versus others. So that's something hopefully Kabam adds in the future. That way we can do some math and get a good idea of what stat is best on items. Let's see. So we have weapons, of course, from top down. It's a weapon, helmet, armor. These are standard on every single character. And then the fourth item is a unique. So I just named it unique 1, 2, and 3. This is the last item, by the way, depending on the character you're playing. So here's Tony Stark's arc reactor. I'm not going to click on the picture because then it goes all crazy. But yeah, just little guide there. The first stat is always guaranteed. The very, very top stat on your gear, it's always going to be there. And for weapons, it's always going to be power. For everything else, it's always going to be health. Just a quick little note, the percentage of power is used to amplify your attacks with light, heavy, and special attacks. And of course, champion health, increases champion health. Anything you guys see in red is either going to be something as like extra notes to take or just to keep in mind, or anything unverified is I haven't seen it in the game yet, but I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be there. So we have some offensive substats. We have attack power, bonus power applied to light attacks and heavy attacks. I think this one is really good, but again, Kabam doesn't add like the percentages that, like, say for example, attack power, if it's like a 10, is that going to add 10 to light attacks and heavy attacks, or is it going to be a little bit more reduced? So at the moment, I'm thinking getting attack power on items is a lot better than getting just the simple light attack power or heavy attack power. But again, I don't know because of the lack of numbers and yeah. So let's go ahead and keep going. We have light attack power, heavy attack power, special power, critical power. These are pretty self-explanatory. And on the notes for crit power, all champions by default, they have 5% crit chance and a 20% crit bonus. So just something to keep in mind. And here we have character specific substats. So Black Panther, on her items, she gets a slashing power, which applies a bonus to all slashing attacks and special attacks. Mystic power on Sorcerer Supreme. Crushing power on Hulk. I'm assuming he's going to have it because all of his attacks are a deal crushing power, but I haven't seen a gear piece on him yet that has this substat. But again, bonus is applied to crushing attacks and special attacks. Iron Legionnaire. I'm going to go ahead and change this. And same thing with Spider-Man, Web Warrior. I know, guys, I know. I like calling them for the character that they're representing, I feel like it's just a lot easier, but I'll go back and I'll make sure that I fix this. It'll say Iron Legionnaire, Web Warrior, Storm is fine, Hulk is fine, Sorcerer Supreme is fine, Black Panther is fine. Okay, where were we? Heat power, Iron Man, Iron Legionnaire, Piercing power, Web Warrior, and then Storm, cold power. And I have seen this on Discord. Somebody posted a screenshot of a Storm with shock power on one of her items. And I'm assuming whenever the Asgardian / Thor gets introduced, they're probably going to have shock power as well. So something maybe in the future, for sure, it's probably going to be there. So why are some of these things here in red? So for example, Black Panther, slashing power. Bonus power applied to all slashing attacks and specials. If you equip the claws, they do slashing damage. All of her attacks, her basic, her heavy, her special 2, and her special 3. But the spear does piercing damage, okay? I double checked it all. It does all of her attacks, the basic, the heavy, the special 2, the special 3, they all do piercing damage. So if you have a ton of items on Black Panther that have slashing power, you're going to lose a lot. This is basically going to be negated if you equip the spear. So something to keep in mind. For now, I would say if you have slashing power, use the claws. Personally, with Black Panther, I love playing her with the claws. She is amazing. She does a ton of damage. She's very agile. She's awesome. The spear, I feel like the special 2 on the spear, it can be avoided pretty easily by just, dodging. And The special two on the claws, it's really quick, so I feel like the enemy has less chance of evading that one. But just keep that in mind. By the way, the spear does piercing damage, so slashing power on Black Panther, it'll do nothing if you have the spear. Mystic power, Sorcerer Supreme, pretty good. All of her attacks with the tome, they all do mystic damage. Her special 2 does mystic damage. If you have the orb, special 2, special 3, all attacks do mystic damage. Crushing power, Hulk, all of his attacks, everything, special 1, special 2, special 3, heavy, basic, they all do crushing damage with both the hammer and the gauntlets. Iron Legionnaire, super laser does, let's see, the heat damage from the heat power, the super laser, which are the weapon, it does heat damage on his ranged, his basic, ranged, and his heavy. When he's up close and punching people, he deals crushing damage. Same thing with Spider-Man. They are the two characters currently in the game that, even though they have ranged hits, ranged attacks, if they're up close to the enemy, their basic attacks will turn into punching. So super laser, special 2, special 3, range, heavy, heat damage. The drones, they do heat damage as well on the range and the heavy and the special 3. The shock, I'm sorry, the special 2 does shock damage, so still pretty good. Heat power, I would prefer it because the heavy on Iron Legionnaire is amazing when you have the drones. Piercing power with Spider-Man, the web shooter. If you have this item equipped, only the basic ranged will do piercing damage. So just keep that in mind. The Gatling shooter, piercing damage will do piercing damage on the range and the heavy and on the special 2. Everything else for him is crushing power. Storm, we have cold power. The wand, cold damage on all of her attacks, her basic, her heavy, special 1, special 2, special 3. When you have the staff equipped though, she does shock damage on all of her attacks. Basic, ranged, heavy, special 1, special 2, special 3. And I have seen, like I said, I have seen shock power, so just keep in mind what kind of power, if you're playing Storm, what kind of power you have on your items, and make sure you equip the right weapon, I guess. Otherwise, that power is going to be basically, kind of useless on her. And then, of course, we have ability substats. Again, this is a work in progress. There's a ton of them. There are basically substats for every single ability in the game, as far as what I've seen. I haven't added everything in, but this is just a general idea. So I've seen this on Black Panther, a kinetic shield burst power, where it's just bonus damage applied to that particular special. So the only one that's a little weird is, Sorcerer Supreme. Whenever, like hers, she has a lot of these. So whenever like her aura is active, like this one does extra heavy power. I know there's some where it does like extra special damage. Basic attacks do like extra damage or bonus power. So hers is a little different, but everyone else, it's pretty much the same. Let's see. Defensive substats, health. You can still get health despite it being on like the first guaranteed stat. Health is also a substat, which is good. Armor, this one reduces incoming damage, and then this is also added in the description, more reduction for champions with more health. But again, there's no percentage there. We don't have an indication of how much armor actually, is beneficial for the champion. So this one I'm a little on the fence about. And then there's also resistance substats, so heat resistance, slashing resist, crushing resist, cold resist, mystic resist, piercing resist, shock resist. I haven't seen it in the game yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume that it's in there. And all it does, it's just reduces damage from that particular power. So heat resist would be good if you're fighting a team of Iron Legionnaires, sorry. Slashing resist, counter for Black Panther, and then over here, like for example, shock resist, I think that would be pretty, for example, sorry, let's go back up one. So crushing resist would be good versus like Spider-Man, Hulk. I can even add like Iron Legionnaire if he's up close and punching you. Piercing resist would be good to have equipped if the enemy team has a bunch of Spider-Men and, Web Warriors and Black Panthers. That'd be good for piercing damage. And then shock resist, of course, for Storm and Spider-Man with his Gatling shooter. So yeah, roughly these are just a couple of things, guys. And like I said, as you get into like defender tier items, there are going to be new substats that you aren't going to see when you're like in warrior tier. I think one that I saw, because my Iron Man is now in defender tier, and I got 2 items for him. One of the items had stamina regen when you're low on HP or something like that. I forgot what it was. I'm gonna have to go back and double check, but I've seen a couple different ones, so I'm assuming as you progress in the game, defender tier items, higher tier items in the future will have more abilities, more substats. So just something to keep in mind. And like I said, this was just a quick little rough introduction to the game, some of the basic information. So hopefully a lot of you guys find this helpful. If anyone, feel free to use this and make it look cleaner, make it look a lot better. Like I said, I'm not good at a lot of this stuff when it comes to making spreadsheets for you guys, as you can tell by my old tier list videos with Forge to Fight. But I mean, I think this is pretty good just as a baseline for new players. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully you guys enjoy the game. I will be streaming it a lot more often. I will be playing with you guys as well. During my streams, I'll be playing. We'll be forming teams. We'll play like with the same group of guys for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 games. And then we'll start a new party, invite new people. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, hopefully you guys can't wait. So I will see you guys in the Battle Realm.